Good evening, ladies and gents. So I'm back with another Conquerors Blade video, and over the last few nights during the Twitch campaign, the Twitch Drops campaign, I have been asked several times, is the Pike worth it? So this is not a guide video for the Pike, this is a review video for the Pike. Before we get into the video though, hit that subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date with the latest and greatest of Conquerors Blade. So then, the Pike weapon is the 12th weapon to hit us in Conquerors Blade after the Maul was introduced back in Season 3, I think it was. So it's actually been quite a while since we've had a new weapon. Now the Pike class, as you can see, is a big long pointy stick, which is obviously what a pike is. This isn't so long as a traditional pike. Pikes are usually a little bit longer than this, but because they've already got a spear in the game, they had to kind of name it Pike to kind of differentiate it between the spear. This weapon is all about piercing damage. There is a couple of skills that use slashing damage, however some of the skills for the Pike have had the incorrect translation applied to them. So just bear that in mind. I'm not 100% sure if that has been totally corrected yet, but most of the skills, because it is a piercing weapon, will be piercing damage no matter what they actually say on the actual tab. So piercing is affected by agility. If you want to be doing the most amount of damage as you possibly can with this build, you want to be getting the Carnifex set, or the what the equivalent of the Blizzard set. Again, I'm not quite sure what that is this season, but it's the medium armor set from the Quartermaster. Once you hit a certain amount of fame with them, get that set. This increases your damage output and it increases your attributes by a certain amount as well, obviously depending on what set you are using. Right here with the Carnifex, I get 150 extra slashing, piercing and blunt damage, and then I get a 10-point increase to both strength, agility, toughness and armor, which is a really nice set. This is the set to really help you out with the damage output of the weapon, which that's pretty much the extent of the guide part of the video. I am now going to just kind of be reviewing the Pike as a whole. So I believe, from what I've played and from what I've seen so far and from what I've heard from other people as well, that the Pike is a good weapon, but it's a very situational weapon. So to get the most out of the Pike, you need to be playing it in conjunction with a good team, which are going to be obviously tanking damage, which are going to be providing you backup. I have struggled, I've really struggled, a lot more so than I ever have with Glaive before, actually going into 1v1 fights with the Pike. I am going to outright admit right now, I am not the best Pike player. I have not spent every single minute since the patch dropped playing the Pike, but I have spent quite a bit of time now playing it, and I am finding I am struggling against specifically heavy armor users, so think long swords, pole axes, short swords. Because the damage output in comparison to the Glaive, which was all about blunt damage, which no one really has any armor to kind of protect against, this is all now piercing. People have a high amount of piercing resistance naturally, especially once you start putting in sets like the Guardsman set and other things like that. The piercing defenses of people is far greater than the blunt defenses of people, so that is making a huge difference in game. I am really struggling against heavy armor users. However, the Pike, like I said, when used properly and in conjunction with your team, who is kind of rushing forward and kind of shock assaulting the team, the break block attribute of the Pike is very high. You manage to, with your ultimate of the, I believe it's the Green Dragon, where you actually charge forward, it does break the block of units very well. Once you actually use your ultimate as well, it actually procs off one of 3 variations of the skills as well, and in my own mind I have kind of broken these down to an AoE skill, to a single target skill and to a stun skill as well. But I am looking at making a proper video guide on the Pike in the next few weeks once I have played it a little bit more, so I will go into more detail about that. However, It goes to show that this weapon is all about its combos. Combo attacks with the Pike are what this Pike, or what this class is about. It's not about a single target kind of strike, or a single strike here, single strike there. It's all about comboing together with your normal attacks all of the different skills as well, because each skill has a certain kind of, the best way of putting it is there's a level to it. So you have a level 1, a level 2 and a level 3. Depending on how many button clicks you've actually used, it will then proc off whatever level next of whatever skill you use next, and every skill is quite different. So you do have a couple of AoE attacks, you do have some like proper single target attacks as well, and you also have an escape attack as well, which is really good, because actually I do find with the Pike class I seem, or just feel like I am a lot squishier than I ever was with the glaive. I probably was with the glaive as well, but I feel with the Pike I seem to be playing very, very carefully, making sure that actually I'm not going head on first into enemies, because when I do, or if I get cornered and backed up against the walls, for example, I get taken down pretty quickly. And even with that escape ability, it's still very difficult to actually get away from a lot of people very, very quickly. The horse abilities, you have a right click attack, you have obviously a normal attack with the Pike as well. The right click ability is kind of like an upward slash kind of thing on one side of your horse. It's quite difficult, or I found it actually quite difficult to actually get that to hit and connect with certain units, because you're kind of charging into things thinking that actually I can use that and I know exactly where it's going to go, and for some reason it goes totally the other way. It's a really odd thing. I'm still getting to grips with that, because I actually only found this out about 3 days ago. It had a right click attack on the horse, but I can see it being useful as just an extra attack that you have, which is always a benefit rather than a hindrance. Just learning when to actually deploy it is the #1 goal of this, which I am still learning as I'm going through. All in all, I think the Pike class is a welcome addition to Conquerors Blade. It does kind of change up the variety of weapons that you see in battle. You are seeing obviously some of these each and every single battle, because people are getting to grips with it. They are unlocking it through the seasonal challenges, which you can do, is one way of actually getting it. Going through the seasonal challenges, it is one of its own kind of challenges for the season. So if you don't want to pay for anything, you can unlock it that way by going through and completing all the different stages in that challenge. Or if you want to actually unlock it, I believe it is still on the marketplace, so you can actually go over there, unlock it straight away for payment, obviously real payment. But if you don't want to wait, if you don't want to be mucking about with doing all the challenges and stuff, then you can actually go over and just unlock it through there. If you don't want to do the challenges and stuff, then obviously you can use sovereigns to actually get through it, which is obviously a quicker way of doing it. But I would say actually it's quite easy. It's going to be quite quick for you to actually just go through it and unlock the challenges just by grinding them, because chances are you're probably going to be doing your weekly challenges while you're doing them as well, plus you're going to be doing your Cudgel monks as well with those challenges, so it's probably worthwhile just doing those, really. Like I said, I think the Pike is a worthwhile weapon. I think it is worthwhile for the grind to actually unlock it, and I do believe it has its place. I think it's going to be one of those weapons which you don't see that often in Territory Wars. You may see 1 or 2 people that have like really mastered it in Territory Wars, but I don't see it becoming the next Maul, the next short sword or anything like that. But that's a good thing, because we don't need another OP meta weapon. We need one with a bit of balance and a bit of variety, so we don't actually see every single person using it, which would not be a benefit to the game at all. Let me know your thoughts on the Pike class down below. Have you played it? Have you got it? What are your thoughts? Are you enjoying it? Have you got any tips for the Pike class as well? Let me know, because I definitely need some tips. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, as always, please hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this video around, and I hope to catch you out on Battlefield.